Yeah, oh, I'm still alive.
Still alive from that Thursday game. There were some points in the second half there, man.
Still alive. Seventh place in just about every single league. Seventh or eighth. Still alive.
Yeah, this year is just
Except for answers by guess.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us, right? Guys, answers by guess. Week 14 Sunday preview show. Holy moly, we're at week 14. This is make it or break it week for people like us, people like myself. Pretty much seems like everybody in the league nowadays, or in a bunch of leagues, seem to be kind of just jumbled in the middle. You got your really two top end guys, you got your really two low end guys, and everybody else is kind of in the middle of the pack. So it's going to be an interesting week. Let's go over bye weeks real quick. Indianapolis Colts, Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots, and the Miami Dolphins. Any of them in your lineups, get them out. And remember, always follow, like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Guys, talk about the game a little bit on Thursday.
Which one? The one in the first half or the one in the second half?
I would say the second half, because the first half was pretty bad for somebody, for one of the teams.
Yeah, I mean, when we had the show Tuesday, it was you got to play Madison, and it's right before up until kickoff, we were telling people don't even bother playing Madison, and most people listened, so it was a good thing.
Alvin, what a game, man!
Osborne came through. Talked about him on Tuesday, and pretty much everybody came through. I mean, Deontay could have had a couple touchdowns. He had the drops this year. He's gone through pretty much the entire season without those drops. He had two big ones. Jefferson could have had 4 touchdowns the first 4 drives.
I think. Oh yeah, the first 4 drives. I think 5 overall, technically, though.
Yeah. So I mean, 2 of them right off the fingertips. One of them terrible throw, and he did get one. Delvin Cook is probably murdering people in a few leagues, but you're not out of it. You're not out of it because, I mean, I'm looking around the leagues and I see people that have Delvin, and I'm looking at their matchups. And now, because of Delvin, and if you have Delvin, this is true for you, I guess, and they got a pretty good projected win. But then you look at the rest of their lineup and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Delvin gives you the win this week, at least from the teams that I'm looking at. I mean, everybody's different, but we'll see.
In the league that I'm in, Dalvin scored me 65 points. He got a double bonus at the 200 mark, which took me from like 40-something points to 60-something points in just that 200-yard mark. I thought that was pretty damn cool. But
and Claypool is an idiot. I mentioned to you right when he did it, and then sure enough, it was like news for still as news.
How do you blame your offensive lineman, though? Like, that's just petty.
I mean, I said it as soon as you did. I'm like, what are you doing celebrating? I texted you. We were texting. I'm like, what a moron. You know, it was 35 seconds on the clock, and then when they sampled it, it was like 12. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Deontay, real smart play, though, man. Going out with the 2 seconds left to at least give him the opportunity, knowing he wasn't going to be able to get in the end zone.
Yeah, that's
Ryermuth had it in his hand, too, man.
He did. But Deontay's decision and Claypool's decision is like the difference between 2 guys that I want on my team. And that's why I have Deontay everywhere and no shares of Claypool.
Agreed, man. And it was just such a weird situation. And they could have had an opportunity multiple times. They didn't use the clock the right way. It's sad.
No. What are you going to do? We're going to move on.
The first game. So, we're going to do games first, then we'll do questions. So let's go through this. Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. Falcons coming off of an okay first half against Tampa Bay. Second half wasn't as good. The offense actually started moving a little bit again. Pitts had a pretty decent game. Davis actually looked pretty okay. Are we starting people from the Falcons against this Carolina defense that's been pretty good? Their secondary is probably one of the best in the league. I'm seeing a lot of Hubbard questions. Let's talk about the running back situation. And DJ Moore and Robbie, are they even startable week 14? What are you thinking?
Remember, what the heck? Now I'm forgetting his name. Shit, I can't remember. The running back that they had. That was on their practice squad. That was on, and he did what Goldman was supposed to do. Not Ego Smith.
Allison.
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 Is it true that he's on the Cowboys?
Oh, I don't know. I'll take a look.
Or is it?
Oh, he's still on Atlanta. It shows.
All right, so maybe it's Ito Smith is with the Cowboys now, which is ridiculous. We'll talk about it when we get to the game. He's not going to play. Panthers. Yeah, I mean you could play. I'm fine with Pitts. Told a couple of people to play Pitts. He's going to line up as wide receiver, but Tajay Sharp's probably going to have to catch a couple balls in this game. I know a lot of people really like Gage in this one. I honestly stay away from Matt Ryan on the road. Typically isn't as good. Panthers had a bye week. Pretty much must win. I know there's probably going to be some questions about Cam. I liked Cam week 12, and shame on me for doing so I won't do it again. I'll just do the shame on me right away. That's supposed to be the second one, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on me. Cam Newton, not doing it. He does have the cheat code, so to speak, being the rushing quarterback. But they're already planning on P.J. Walker getting a bunch of snaps in this one. So I think you find another option other than Cam this week. I really like Amir Abdullah in this. That's pretty much Cam's bread and butter is the checkdowns. Talked about him on Tuesday. People were wanting to go after Chuba, and I said, I would let Chuba just go through, and you could just grab Amir Abdullah for free. He's going to be a pass-catching back, and that's what Cam likes to do the most. And he's looked good in the little bit of time that he's had so far this season. DJ Moore is a fine play. You can pass on the Falcons. I wouldn't go to the well with Robbie Anderson. Not right now. Everything's too valuable. So it's pretty much, if you really need a running back, Amir Abdullah is somebody that I would feel comfortable in the PPR league throwing out there. And I like the Panthers defense. I'm using them myself in 2 leagues. And I just think at home, coming off the bye week, off the embarrassing loss, Matt Ryan on the road. Matt Ryan looked good last week. He just didn't get any touchdowns. But they do have the best cornerback duo in the league. So that's why I kind of think if Pitts is more lined up as a wide receiver, it could hurt him because Gilmore and the likes could shut him down. And they're just more polished, more vet. But if he goes into a tight end slot-ish traditional type role, then he's going to be able to beat them on that third corner or the linebackers. And that's why I think Tajay Sharp could actually have a game in this one. But you're not using him. You can't use him. There's better options out there. There has to be.
Agreed, man. All right, let's go on to the next one here. Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Baltimore coming off of that tough loss, going for 2 at the end instead of trying to tie the game. We had talked about it on Tuesday a little bit. The wide receivers role, Hollywood Brown was okay. Andrews was okay. Freeman seems to be their best option right now outside of Lamar. How comfortable do we feel about starting a Freeman? Is there anybody else startable besides Hollywood and Andrews? Obviously, you're starting Lamar. Cleveland Browns defense, on paper, they're supposed to be good. I don't know. I don't think so. Coming off the bye week, though, getting a little healthier. They do have 2 guys out on COVID from the tight end. So does that make Hooper a good play?
Yeah, the last time they played 2 weeks ago before Cleveland's bye, it was 16-10, I believe. It was kind of a putrid game. I think it was Lamar's first one back, if I'm not mistaken. Or was last week his first one? I think 2 weeks ago was.
Yeah.
Either way, I think this one's going to be a little more high scoring. Austin Hooper's been somebody I've been pumping up the entire week in other fantasy rooms on Facebook and anywhere I possibly could. He's the only tight end in town this week. Typically it's that 3-headed monster. They are going to bring up, I believe the guy's name is Miller Forrestall. He's a rookie. He played at Alabama. He's okay, but he was a practice squad guy. He scored a touchdown in the preseason for the Titans. But he's going to be the second guy. And I wanted to write this down because I wanted to make sure, but I knew it was pretty good. And when I looked, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what I figured. The last 4 games, tight ends for the Browns, if you put all 3 of their stats together, 6 for 85 and a touchdown, 6 for 73, 9 for 62 and a touchdown, 5 for 58 and a touchdown.
I'll take those numbers.
Yeah. Austin Hooper will get at least 4 for 60 in a touchdown. You can write that one down. I think that's set in stone. And if you're streaming a tight end this week, I mean, that's 16 points. And
I tried to get him, man. I wanted him.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got him in ABG. It's all for naught, but we got him, and I'm glad that we do. And it was kind of just
consolation, man.
Yeah, we knew Goddard was on a bye, so we scooped him up last week while he was on a bye, and things have just fallen into place where the other 2 guys are out. So I honestly think if you're struggling looking for a tight end, I think he's the best one out there. I mean, we're going to talk about other guys like Komet, because I know he's out there a bunch of places. Everett is out there. The Redskins. Tuesday I sort of talked about Bates a little more and Rob was a little more on Ricky Seals-Jones, but they're out there. But I would go with Hooper. He's out there because his stats have been a third of what they can be this game. I mean, there's some weeks where he's been the top guy, and there's other weeks where it's been Njoku, there's other weeks when it's been Bryant. And I think with the bye week, Baker had time to heal. Donovan Peoples-Jones had time to heal. I think you'll see a deep ball to DPJ in this one. Kareem Hunt, first game back, wasn't great. Had a bye week, and now he's going to be back here. I really like Kareem Hunt in this one. And they're going to run Chubb as much as they can, and obviously he should be in your lineup. Bateman was not used really at all last week. He's had a couple down weeks, a couple drops, made a mistake early last week. I feel it kind of put him in the doghouse. With Lamar, I think he gets out of that. I think they're going to need him to this week. He's somebody I guess you could use in your flex. He's a little risky, or wide receiver 3. But I do see more points in this one. So if you're at all shy about Lamar this week, or Hollywood, or Andrews, I think that both these teams will be better offensively than they have been. And this will be a much more higher total than it was 2 weeks ago. That's just typically kind of the way it goes when teams play each other, especially when they play each other this close. If one game is lower scoring, the offenses kind of figure it out for the next one. So I do see a lot of points here. I think that you should try and get at least a piece of this if you can. And Austin Hooper is probably the easiest way to do that this week.
Yeah, good call. It was 16-10 the last 2 weeks ago. All right. Next one here. Seattle Seahawks at the Houston Texans. Seattle looked a little better last week. Not the greatest, but better. How do we feel about their wide receiver core? Talk about their run game as well. And Houston, Davis Mills is going to be the starter going forward. Cook's banged up. Is there even anybody startable on Houston in week 14?
I mean, Cooks would be the guy, right? But I own him in one league, and I'm kind of. I mean, I do like Davis Mills better for him than Tyrod, but there's going to be some mistakes. They're at home. Seahawks defense. You feel like they're getting better, then sometimes they don't look that way. I don't know if I'd bother. David Johnson's back, I believe. You can run all over the Seahawks, but I don't think I would. I think I would just sort of leave them alone. I know Brevin Jordan is a name we brought up before. Again, if you're in need of a tight end, all those guys I mentioned in the earlier game, and Austin Hooper on top is where I would look. In 99 leagues out of 100, at least when this week started, and I brought up Austin Hooper's name on Tuesday, he's available. Nobody is. I mean, there's like fantasize me, he's the 1 league. And the reason being is he's a Cleveland homer. And he just has a ton of Browns on his team and won't drop them. So, Seahawks, I like Russell Wilson this week. How can you not against this team? The only thing I fear is that they won't need to push the button. They won't need to push the envelope, the gas pedal, so much in this one. But I feel like you got to put DK in your lineup. Sooner or later, he's going to catch a touchdown. He's going to have a pretty good game. This is a good game to do it in, I would think. And they got their full stable of running backs coming back because Collins will be back. And this game happens to have our week 14 guesstimator. Fumbling over my words here. I'm so excited. I can't even wait to get it out. This is a guy who we've talked about for years and finally healthy. And I know at least a couple people out there will be excited to hear this. And no, this was not thought of after any discussions that anybody might be watching was witness to. This was a guy who I had my eye on for years. This is years in the making. Looked good last week. I don't care that Alex Collins is back. He's the best running back on the team. They drafted him in the first round in 2018. They want to see what they have with him. They're going to use him as much as possible. And if he gets hurt, then they know, all right, this guy can never stay healthy. We can get rid of him. But if he rocks it, then they know, okay, this guy's pretty good. We got to keep him. It's Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny looked good last week. I think he had, I want to say, like 30-something yards on a decent chunk of carries. But those carries, he looked pretty good running the ball. And he's better than DJ Dallas. They like him more. He's better than Homer. And he's better than Alex Collins. Collins is 30-something years old. Would not surprise me if Penny starts this game, leads all rushers by far, and busts a couple long ones against this Houston Texan rush defense that you can run all over. And if they are able to pass on them and get up early, you're going to see more and more Penny. The only issue with Rashad Penny is, will he make it through the game? But if you are in such a pinch, he's out there everywhere. He's out there everywhere. I'm even starting him in the league in a flex as of right now. It's between him and a couple other guys, but right now I have him in my flex. That's the only thing you worry about. And because of that, week 14, I'm going to give you 2 guesstimators. You'll find out the other one later.
I like it. Penny looked good, man. 10 for 35. That's what I see as stat line up. But a lot of notes that he is splitting carries. So Pete, you mentioned Pete Carroll's definitely looking for, see if it's make or break for him.
I mean, this is it, because this is the last year of his rookie contract. I got to see what he's got. You cut him loose if he can't stay healthy or if he can't help you. And then they draft a running back, hopefully not in the first round.
All right, let's go on to the next game here. Las Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. I always feel like these games are kind of close, man. Raiders play Kansas City pretty well. Kansas City coming off of a weird win. Again, it wasn't the greatest of looking. I mean, they're, from a fantasy perspective, their 2 big guys just haven't been doing it. I'm nervous about starting Hill. I know that sounds stupid against the Raiders, but I mean, the Raiders secondary isn't half bad. They have really good safeties. How are we feeling about players in this game? Waller being out, how does that affect the Raiders? Obviously, Drake also on IR. On the flip side, I don't know who the hell. Just who do we play?
Brush your worries aside, my friend.
Ooh, all right.
This game is going to be a shellacking. Kansas City is going to erupt offensively. Patrick Mahomes is going to have a patented Patrick Mahomes game, 300 passing yards minimum, 3 passing touchdowns minimum. Hill has a great game. Kelsey has a great game. They'll get close a couple times where the pass doesn't work, and CEH will pound at least 1 in. But other than those 3, it's not going to be anybody. Yeah, Mahomes, if you want to say 4. It's going to be a shellacking. And because of that, I'm a little worried about Josh Jacobs. I'm a Josh Jacobs owner. I don't think there's a way that you can bench him because it's just him, really. And, you have to start him. I'm starting him. But I'm a little worried because I feel this game could get out of hand and pretty early. These two teams do not like each other. It's in Kansas City. They, the team, and the fans, are dying for a Kansas City smashing. And I feel like this is the one. Derek Carr has just been enough of nothing and shaky. The wide receiver core, aside from Cooper Kupp on Wish, Hunter Renfrow, not really much. Darren Waller not there. Last week we thought Moreau would do something in one catch, big catch, but just the one. I feel like Kansas City's just going to take it to them offensively. If you are at all thinking about any worries with Hill or Kelsey, have no fear. Start them with confidence. This one, I can't wait for this to be a video.
All right, don't worry. I marked down plenty of paper and plenty of players, so let's make this happen. All right, New Orleans Saints at the New York Jets. New Orleans, Taysom Hill, they're coming off a mini bye here. I think Dawn said it. I think even in the video we put it, it's like it wasn't the prettiest thing, but you know what? I'll take it. Going up against the Jets defense, who's trending a little bit more forward. They're not the greatest, obviously, but opportunistic here and there. Kamara being back. We saw that experiment last year, and Kamara wasn't the beneficiary. How is it different this year, or is it different this year? Anybody else, we would start from the Saints side. Jets, Elijah Moore being out. Who does that tick up? And can Zach Wilson actually move the ball against this team? And talk about the running back situation with Coleman being out.
Yeah, last week, the reason that we picked up Taysom Hill was because he was going to be the starter, but also because the majority of us, the reason we were doing it is because we either were starting Jalen Hurts or maybe Tua because we're streaming or something like that. We picked it up for this game. Last week was like a nice little bonus. Nice little appetizer. It worked for the Jalen Hurts folk, but it was for this game against the Jets. And the Jets, the only thing that they could be happy about with this one is that it's at New York. Now, is there a way I could see the Jets winning this because it's at New York? Sure, because this is a typical game where the Jets would win. But I feel like the rookie quarterback is going to struggle. He's going to need to rely on the run game and the quick, short passes. Elijah Moore out. It's got to be Jamison Crowder. No Corey Davis. So we're looking at Crowder, Keelan Cole. But I'm not starting Keelan Cole, but I'll start Jamison Crowder with confidence. The tight end, Griffin. And the running backs. Tevin Coleman's been looking pretty good, right?
He's out.
And he's out. So who are we going to have? Ty Johnson?
They're even seeing a little P. Ryan coming to play, back to play. So I don't know. I like P. Ryan last year. I went very deep and heavy on autographs for Mr. P. Ryan.
For sure. But what I'm basically saying is he's going to have to rely on Crowder, Griffin, the running backs. That's pretty much it. Because Lattimore, I don't see Lattimore shadowing Crowder out of the slot. He'll probably be on Keelan Cole most of the time. And this game could come down to how easy does Taysom Hill run all over them? And how well or how much does Taysom Hill utilize Kamara, like you said? No Deontay Harris, who's quietly become the best receiver for them. So Traquan Smith, Lil Jordan, and Callaway. They have 4 wide receivers that are the exact same person. It's literally like that movie with Michael Keaton, Multiplicity.
Multiplicity. That was a good one too.
It's like it's all the same guy, every single one. Would not start any of them this week. The couple big scores that they had last week were like kind of broken plays, right? Taysom Hill, because of his legs, maybe was able to dump it off, and they were more worried about Hill and broke deep. I don't think the Jets let too much of that happen. I think you see a heavy dose of the Saints run. Taysom Hill is a must start in this one. Jamison Crowder on the other side is the only person that I would say is a must start. Of course, you got Kamara. You're playing Kamara.
I agree with you. I think Crowder is going to eat as well since there is the targets. Somebody pay attention, maybe a DFS standpoint. Braxton Berrios.
Every week you love him.
I do. Think about it. He's running back punts. He's the best punt returner in the game. If you're getting points for that, that changes things, especially now that there's going to be targets to share. Not only are you going to get the punt returns, you're going to get those targets. So look for him a little bit as well, even on some end arounds as well.
100%. I remember when Berrios got drafted by the Chargers, and I kind of liked him. And then real quick, he was dropped, and the Patriots picked him up. And I was like, this guy's going to be the next Wes Welker. This guy's going to be the next Julian Edelman. And then they hardly used him. They brought Hogan in as well, and they got rid of Berrios. And he resurfaced in New York, and he's been pretty good for them the couple of years he's been there now. So without a doubt, he's definitely he's the exact type of person, you nailed it, Rob, that I'm saying that they're going to have to use. Somebody that's they get a quick, short pass off to and let him just do something because
kind of like a Deontay Harris, that same type of situation,
Yep, good call. But you're not using them this week.
Again, DFS lineups, maybe that's where I would throw them in, to be honest with you. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. You called the Jags got destroyed by the Rams. That was the Rams' good, make me feel good kind of game. There's a lot of news this week. Even Trevor Lawrence came out. James Robinson needs to get the ball more. Yeah. Going up against a Tennessee defense that's their strong suit compared to their secondaries, their run stopping ability. All right, is James Robinson a must start then? The fact that they're going to feed him the ball, or is that kind of more of a hoax, hoping that would actually open things up in the passing game? On the flip side, Tennessee coming off of a bye this week. Julio Jones back. I see a lot of Westbrook-Akini questions. Let's talk about that, as well as I think McNichols is back as well. How does that affect the run game?
Yeah, Urban Meyer doesn't seem to be the smartest that there is out there in the world. But when you got James Robinson speaking up and himself and your quarterback, franchise quarterback, whether right, wrong, indifferent, good, bad, indifferent, speaking up about the running back needs to be out there. I mean, even Forrest Gump, who's not the smartest man, would know that, okay, maybe we should just keep James Robinson out there. And I think that their defense, Jacksonville's, is good enough to stop this hodgepodge of people that Tennessee is going to be throwing out there, that J-Rob will be involved throughout the entire game. And I think anybody who's worried about it, I don't think you should be this week. I think when there's that much smoke about a particular player and his lack of playing time from the quarterback, the running back himself, and the head coach, I think that the immediate thought is, okay, let's use him. Let's use him. Let's shut everybody up. Let's use him. And I think they do. And I think Laquan Treadwell is a good play in this one. I would even push as far as a flex. If you're in a very deep league, somewhere with deep benches, you got a lot of guys with COVID or injured or on a bye, I would throw him in a flex this week. I would throw him in a DFS lineup. He's been hot. Trevor Lawrence has been looking for him, and you mentioned it. Tennessee Titans have one of the worst secondaries in the league. They're going to have to throw it at least sometimes. I think that he's the biggest beneficiary. Marvin Jones has disappeared. They don't know how to use Chenault. And he loves Laquan Treadwell. So he's definitely worth a shot. I mean, he's getting 6 to 8 targets or catches a game. As far as Tennessee goes, I know a lot of people love Hilliard and they love Foreman. But like you said, McNichols is back. And it's going to be all three of them. And as good as Hilliard's stat line was last week, he had 60% of it on the one run. It's kind of a broken play, got through the hole. But he did what he did, and that's fantasy. And it only takes a play like that. So you can't discount that. You can't say he's not good for fantasy because it only takes one play. It only needs one play for it to be good for fantasy. That's why this game is great. But I don't know. I think Jacksonville's defense is good enough. They're ready for it. And I feel like his carries / touches because of catches will be cut by at least 25% with McNichols coming back. I feel like McNichols is the one they trust the most. He's at the top of the depth chart. If you were to look at the depth chart, he's number 1 now. So that didn't take long. And I feel like it's him. And then the other guys sort of, fall into their place. So, I mean, I saw questions like, would I play Hilliard or Hunt? Like, I'm playing Hunt. This is do or die. I'm playing Hunt. Hunt splitting, but he's also on the field at the same time as Chubb. But Hilliard's going to be split in 3 ways, and a pretty even split. And I think this game will be a lower scoring game than that game. So I want the player on the higher scoring setup. You know how I feel about Akina. I feel like Des Fitzpatrick is the best one, but he got no playing time last week for whatever reason. He came in his first play of the game, caught a pass, and I never saw him again. I mean, he was out there for more plays after that, but he never even got a target. Julio coming back is going to hurt that as well. I don't know. I would stay completely away from the Titans if I could this week.
All right. Next game here, Dallas Cowboys at the Washington football team. Dallas coming off the mini bye here. A lot of obviously questions about Zeke, man. Zeke is just not the same Zeke that we've seen in the past and so on and so forth. But Pollard's out, more than likely out. Is Zeke's all systems go? I mean, since he's going to be the only back. Talk about the wide receivers as well. Who do you think is going to get the ball? On Washington's side, this team has secretly won 4 games in a row here, but not so secretively. It's their defense that has been stepping up. That was what we were waiting for. Kind of, we saw it in the beginning of the year. We're like, this isn't Washington. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like Washington. My infatuation with Heineke. Talk about who we can start from the Washington football team.
Well, I'll start with Zeke because that's going to be everybody's question. Listen, the last game, first to admit it, when we came on the Sunday show last week, like, man, he looks terrible. And it was 4-day rest. Not even really. 3.5. We'll give him a break. 3.5 day rest coming off of the Sunday game. And no, he did not look good. And he was going against a very tough rush defense. The Saints. Washington also has a tough rush defense, but not as good as the Saints. But he's had 10 days rest. And there's no Pollard there. Corey Clement is somebody that you go out and you grab because I don't think Pollard's going to play again this year. I feel like Dallas is in. If Dallas wins this game, they got a nice lead in the division. They should be able to coast to the division lead, which means they make the playoffs. I feel like they could hold Pollard out until that occurs. He's got torn plantar fascia in his foot. We've all heard plantar fasciitis. And the people that comes back from that too quick, it's never really good. And most people don't even come back too quick. So I feel like if you're in a deep league and you want somebody who can catch some passes and run some balls, I feel like Corey Clement is a pickup for you for just a little bit of bench depth. Because I honestly, and I know I'm a Zeke owner, so I'm a little hopeful, but I'm also trying to use my head more than my heart. It's what I typically do. I feel like Corey Clement is going to carve out a decent role in this. It's not going to be anything near Pollard, but he's going to get a 15 to 20% snap share this week because they are going to have to rest Zeke. But I'm not worried about Zeke this week. With the extra 10 days off, I feel like that's going to help him. He said himself he feels great. He said it's not going to fix itself for quite a while. He said he's probably not going to be 100% at all. But he said a few days ago, I feel great. It feels better than it did. Man, you got a hurt knee. You play 3.5 days later, you got to play again. Well, now he got 10 days rest. I think that's enough. And I think against the Washington football team, it's a bit of an easier matchup. I tell you who I'm worried about, and anybody's watched the show for the 4.5, this is our 5th season doing this. I'm worried about Michael Gallup, and I have to play him. I got to use him because it's between him and Cortland Sutton for me. And although when we get to that game, I kind of feel like Cortland Sutton's going to have a game sooner or later, thought it would be last week, and sometimes I'm a week ahead. I don't think Gallup. I'm a little worried because Cooper's back. Yeah, he had 10 days off as well. A couple of big plays last week, and he got the 10 days back. I feel like he's 100%. I feel like Cooper's going to have a really nice game in this one. We saw last game was mostly CD, and Gallup had the best catches in the game, a few of them. I feel like Cooper's going to have the biggest game in this one against the Washington secondary, who can easily be beat. So if you're somebody who's been sort of a little worried about Cooper, I'd get him in your lineup and feel pretty confident about it. As far as Washington goes, it's like, man, Gibson's finally starting to do it. Now, is McKissick coming back? Come on, man. Stay away. I don't think he's going to this week, but he'll be back probably next week at worst or at best, depending on which way you look at it. Jarrett Patterson has not amounted to anything. You got to play Scary Terry.
Talk about the tight ends. You were talking about Bates and Ricky Seals-Jones.
We talked about it kind of ad nauseum on Tuesday. I feel like Bates is the rookie. Let's see what we got. Logan Thomas is over 30 years old, and we drafted this guy. We might as well use him. Ricky Seals-Jones is not getting us anywhere. He's not as old as Logan Thomas, but he's not very good, in my mind. He had the one splash game. Everybody went bonkers. I told you to hold your horses. And granted, he's been hurt shortly after that, but, I mean, he is what he is. He did the same exact thing when he was in Arizona years ago. Had a game or two and then fizzled out. I feel like they should use Bates. Now, Rob, you're in the position where I saw you picked up Bates and you just dropped Bates and you picked up Ricky Seals-Jones. I'm rooting for you because I need you to win. Because if you win and I win, I get in.
Ricky Seals-Jones too soon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay. So you got something else up your sleeve.
I am.
Okay.
I have to figure it out. It depends on what your answer to question number 19 is.
Oh, who wrote that? What's that
Rob
guy say?
T.
Rob T. That was a bit of a better giveaway. But, I like Bates better in this one. So I guess that recommendation is just simply if you're somebody who is playing Ricky Seals-Jones because Logan Thomas is out and you think he's going to have a good game, listen, his matchup's good. Dallas against the tight ends is one of the best matchups there is. Them, the Eagles, and Arizona. Those are the three teams. And it's been that way for a couple seasons that you want to use tight ends against. But I just think Bates has looked great every time Logan Thomas has not been there. Yes, Ricky Seals-Jones had the one good game. I'd use Hooper because Hooper's out there. I would use him over Ricky Seals-Jones. And, just like Rob's doing, if you picked up Ricky Seals-Jones, you might want to see what else is out there. And just real quick, because I scrolled down, I see some people and the names I don't recognize. We're going to fly through the rest of these games, and then we're going to get to the questions. So stick with us.
Let's go through it. Detroit Lions at Denver Broncos. Seems like Swift may play, but Jamal Williams being out. Talk about that situation. They actually won a game. St. Brown's actually been secretly doing pretty good, man. I know you were high on Josh Reynolds, but St. Brown's been doing pretty good. Could he be a flex option this week for Goff, who actually played well? On the flip side, Denver Broncos did not look good against KC. Maybe you're a week ahead. I'm sorry, you were a week behind as far as Sutton. This could be a Sutton game against the Detroit Lions who suffer. Talk about that. And Gordon coming back, how does that affect Javonte?
Yeah, as far as the line running back goes, I don't think Swift plays. Williams out with COVID. Jermar Jefferson's next one up there, but there's a dude I've been talking about ever since that one play I think was on Thanksgiving. They gave him one snap, flew through the line, Um, he just looks so ridiculously electric. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? I look at the back of his jersey and I try and figure it out. I'm syllabatizing. I'm staring at it, going piece by piece. And then I said to myself, man, if this guy ever got a shot, if they ever, why don't they use him enough? Where's that guy that had that play? Well, now this week he gets that, and he's our second week 4 estimator. Godwin Igwebuike.
Bonus.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I like how it rolls off my tongue, so I'm going for it. This guy, if you watch the games, we must watch games and not stat lines. That's how we get better at this. Watch games, watch potential, and just wait. That's why you all tune into this, because we're doing that. We're seeing the potential and telling you this guy's going to do something. Mention his game. Thanksgiving Day was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I told you this Igwebuike. I said he absolutely looked ridiculous. And he did it again last week. Shot through. Like, why are you not giving the ball more? I think Drew Maurer will get the start, but this guy's going to be on the field catching passes and bottle rocketing all around, and they're going to need him to. And yes, I'm on Ross St. Brown. Yes, my boy Josh Reynolds. That's for you, Sean. Like them both. No TJ Hawkinson in this game, so those two guys are going to be needed. No, there's no backup tight end that we're even thinking about on this team. I would not go as far as Khalif Raymond. I don't care how deep the league is. No. He looked terrible last week with a few chances. And we've seen him for years. I don't want anything to do with it. But the two running backs and the two wide receivers have to do something. If they can, if my bonus week 14 guesstimator can come through, if the guy you mentioned and the guy I've been talking about, Josh Reynolds, for a while, can continue to step up and come through, then maybe Cortland Sutton does do what I think he could do last week. And maybe I was a week ahead. But Jerry Jeudy just steals those. And I have to think that even with Gordon coming back, they just continue to ride Javonte. I honestly think with Gordon's coming back, he's like, man, this guy is pretty good. I'm ready. I'm ready. Put me back in. And I feel like it's going to be 65-35, whereas it's normally 50-50. I still think that they lean a little bit more this week on Javonte, but you know what's going to happen with Gordon. He'll sneak a touchdown here or there. And I just think Mile High is going to get to Goff, and they're going to be able to run all over the Lions, and that's pretty much why I'm still sticking with Gallup over Sutton. But, man, if I have a nice dream tonight and something speaks to me, I would make that switch. If you're stuck playing Cortland Sutton, I have a feeling. I just can't bring myself to do it. He's broken my heart so much this year. Because the problem's going to be is he has to do it early. He has to do it early. I feel like Denver can roll these guys. I do like the Lions. I like how they've been playing this year. They've been in a bunch of close games. They got their first win. I don't think that they have a Super Bowl hangover. Like, we got our first win, yay, and then stink. I don't think that that's the type of team that the head coach has them being like. I think they're hungry for more. So they will play tough, but the mile high wind or mile high air can get to people. And that's going to be the difference here. I think Denver will be able to run all over them.
All right, yeah, I got to start Javonte just because Eli Mitchell is out for me. So, all right, New York Giants at the Los Angeles Chargers. Giants, Glennon is going to be the starter. Shepard looks like he's coming back. Galladay is banged up but should be playing. Tony's out. Talk about who we could see the Giants throwing the ball to or passing the ball to or running the ball with, because I don't know how comfortable I feel about starting Giants, to be honest with you. And on the flip side, Chargers looked good against Cincinnati last week. Keenan Allen being out. A lot of questions about Guyton and Palmer I'm seeing everywhere. You on Tuesday weren't too high on either one of them. Has that changed your mind? Big Mike Williams seems like he will play.
Yeah, I love Saquon in this game. you can run on the Chargers, and I think that has to be the game plan. Sterling Shepard, I guess, if you need him as a wide receiver 3 or 4, if you run 4 or flex, you just have to hope he doesn't get hurt. Evan Ingram, if you're in dire need, why not? I guess the same goes with Kenny Galladay. I didn't want anything to do with him when the season started. I still don't. Mike Glennon worries me, but you can run all over this team. Barkley keeps looking better and better each week. But because of the Giants' offense and the way that it is, that's why I was kind of like when people were, head over heels for Guyton this week. I was just like, how much are they going to need him? Like, really? How much are they going to need him? And it could be Guyton, and we mentioned this, and it could be Palmer. Maybe they call up Joe Reed, and they got 2 tight ends, and it's Eckler and 3 other running backs. There's just so many other ways that they can attack the Giants and slow this game down, especially if their offense steps up or their defense steps up. You really need the Giants' offense to do well. But now that Big Mike Williams is playing, I actually kind of feel like that will help the people that invested in Guyton. Because I feel like it will be Mike Williams and Guyton, and less of Palmer and less two tight end sets. I feel like if Mike Williams wasn't there, then that's when you had to worry a little more. But so you're. I still don't like Guyton, is what I'm basically trying to say. But Mike Williams being there helps Guyton be on the field and be looked at more often, because the defense is going to be covering Mike Williams more. But I like Saquon. He's my favorite play in this entire game aside from Eckler. But we don't talk about players that are obvious.
Somebody who's not obvious, but I can see having some kind of a role for the Chargers. Andre Roberts. Watch that name tomorrow.
I remember him from a long time ago for the Cardinals.
Remember him? Yeah. Dude, he's that type of player that may just sprint down the field. Like you're thinking it's going to be Guyton. You think it's going to be Palmer. And all of a sudden, Andre Roberts shows up and pops up out of nowhere.
I can't believe he's still in the league.
Yeah, I think he had a couple points last week. I think he was returning kicks, but with Keenan Allen being out, you never know. He's a veteran guy. San Francisco 49ers, Cincinnati Bengals. This is going to be an interesting one, man. Yeah. Eli Mitchell being out. Obviously, we know the love that Shanahan has for him. How does that change this offense? Debo seems like he's expected to play. Jeff Wilson Jr. would probably be the starter then, I would assume. Hasty seems like he's active as well. So talk about that situation, as well as Cincinnati. They came back in the second half. Burrow has a hurt finger. Are we worried about playing our Bengals? Mixon's still up in the air. It could be Pirine. San Francisco's defense not that bad, man. How do we feel about Cincinnati and their offense?
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes, 1 hour of questions and infinite minutes of – or 1 hour of games, infinite minutes of questions. 49ers, I'm fine. Kittle, Debo, I'd be a little worried, but if he plays, I guess you got to put him in there. Ayuk is somebody I really loved going into this news about Debo, so I'm kind of hoping he doesn't go, because Ayuk is a great DFS play this week. Look good without Debo, look good with Debo, but if he's not there against the Bengals, I think he could have a huge game. The running back situation doesn't really worry me, because it's the run scheme for this team. That's the entire thing around it. And putting a new guy in there and having them do well has never meant anything for Shanahan. It's the Shanahanigans. That's what basically happens. I feel like Wilson's the one, and you're going to see Hasty catching some passes as sort of the change of pace. I feel like Wilson is who you have to go out there and grab, but if you grabbed Hasty, he's probably worth playing this one. See a lot of points. Cincinnati at home, they got to start off hot. Because they've been falling behind and having to play catch up, and they got to start off hot. This is a big game for them at home. 49ers basically traveling across the country, but it's a later game, so it's not too big of a deal for them. I like all my Bengals. The whole Mixon conundrum's big, but if you haven't handcuffed him with P Ryan at this point, then that's the issue. But if so, then you probably should go out there and get Wilson or Hasty if somebody else already hasn't, or maybe Penny or Igwe.
All right. Keep things rolling here. Buffalo Bills at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bills coming off of the win game that was just crazy, and the amount of running that happened in that game. Talk about how that offense can step up this week. Just it's a cluster in running back situation. Who's getting the ball as far as wide receivers? Tampa, Gronk's back. He's getting the love in the red zone. Godwin had a huge game this week. Is it flip-flop time? Is it Evans time compared to Godwin? And then Fournette, him and Taylor are the best running backs in the league.
Yeah, the Bills, they don't run the ball. They can't run the ball. Last game chose not to really run the ball when Patriots did the opposite, only ran the ball. And that's good. That works out for the Bills because guess what? You can't run the ball against Tampa. Why even bother? I do think that Josh Allen bounced back. They were pretty good last week. He put a lot of balls on the receivers. Receivers dropped them. Dawson Knox was one of them. I think Knox is going to have to bounce back. Use him if you got him. And I like Diggs quite a bit in this one. Beasley. Gabe Davis is somebody who we've been waiting on all season the past 2 or 3 weeks is really coming on. They're going to use him in this one as well. I don't think anybody at this point is using Emmanuel Sanders, and that's a great thing. For the Bucs, yeah, you nailed it. Mike Evans. Mike Evans is one of my favorite plays of the week at wide receiver. I think that the Bills shore up their rush defense. Not only did they get destroyed on the ground last week, but as you mentioned, Fournette has been destroying it on the ground. Now, a couple things I had mentioned last week, and again, just like I sort of mentioned with Hilliard's one fluky run, flukes in fantasy count for the same amount, so it really doesn't matter. But that game where he had 4 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, it was like pass interference in the end zone on 1 or 2 of them, tackled at the 1 yard line. So it's like, yeah, you got the touchdowns, but they were 1 yard punches or within the 5. But he's still been killing it. He's been running all over. I think the Bills shore that up and they make Brady beat him through the air, which he can do. He's the GOAT. But so I think that if you're a Fournette owner, you're obviously playing him. But I do think that they do what they can to make sure that he doesn't beat them on the ground because recency shows that their butt was kicked on the ground last week and Fournette's been kicking people's butt on the ground. If I was an NFL coach, that's where I'm going. Saying, we have a good secondary. Let's make Brady beat us. We've been waiting all these years to beat Brady. Let's make him beat us again. Let's make sure the run game is not what beats us. And that's why I think this game will be pretty offensive. But Godwin, Gronk, last week, the week before, I think it's a Mike Evans game quite easily. I think it's one of the easiest DFS plays this week. And I shouldn't even tell you that because I'm trying to win your money. But I feel like he's a slam dunk this week.
Before you said anything as far as the running game and them stopping it, for some reason, Rojo keeps on popping in my mind. I've been thinking of actually even picking up Rojo in a couple places in the league that you're right. I think they're going to focus on stopping Lenny, but could that open it up for Rojo almost in a way that, I know they got ran on all week last week. I can see the play action working for Rojo or him being involved in some dump offs or screens.
Yes and no. I mean, could it happen if they used him? Yes, but the problem is they don't use him. And they're still using Bernard. And Keyshawn Vaughn is still around. So it's like, if he gets on the field, Rojo's a fine pickup in Dynasty because he's going to be somewhere else next year, without a doubt. His rookie contract is up. And in case anything were to happen to Lenny, he's a gold mine. So he's definitely worth picking up at this point. I wouldn't play him this week.
All right. Let's go on to the Sunday Night Magic here. Chicago Bears at Green Bay Packers. Justin Fields playing now. I saw you had made a post saying, hey, Justin Fields is playing, so I take Green Bay as the top defense. and I throw them all the way to the bottom of the list. Tell us why. On the flip side, Green Bay, we all know Rodgers owns Chicago. How does that play into this? Does Chicago play harder against this team, and do we feel uncomfortable starting any of our guys, or is it all systems go with every single Packer?
Well, what it was, the Tuesday show, there was one league where there was 8 defenses that were available, and I was saying how this is the best week of the season, maybe ever, that I've ever seen where you could stream a defense. There's at least 8 teams, I estimated, that had great matchups. So we counted them off, and there was 8, and the top one that I had read off because it was the highest projected points happened to be Green Bay. They weren't my favorite, but they were the highest projected by Yahoo, so I had set them first. But I said take them off the list completely because I liked them because it was Andy Dalton, who's not terrible, but in primetime he is. In primetime he's not good. He's never won a primetime game his entire life, his entire career, playoffs or regular season. So when Fields came in, that takes them off the list. Also, Green Bay mobile quarterbacks, it's been their Achilles heel for years. I mention that all the time, every time that my team plays against a mobile quarterback. And they're going to be hungry. I own you, right? I still own you. And I feel like Justin Fields makes the offense better. Yes, Dalton looked to Mooney more than Fields did. But that was in the beginning of Mooney sort of coming along and Fields finally starting to come along. They're putting Fields out there. I'm fine playing Mooney because they're going to need Mooney. It's a volume play, if nothing else. But Cole Kmet's a big one because Fields was loving Cole Kmet. So it's always been Hooper or Kmet for me this week. And because Kmet was a little more owned, that's why I sucked the teat of Hooper just a little bit more this week. But I'm fine with Kmet. Allen Robinson's back. I think that helps Mooney because it gives Green Bay something else to worry about. Would not surprise me for 2 reasons. If Allen Robinson scores a touchdown, 1, because they're going to need as much volume as they can through the air, and 2, because I'm playing against Allen Robinson in my most important league. And that's typically how it goes for me. And Montgomery's fine. Herbert, don't even worry about him. He showed up a little bit last week. Montgomery was banged up, but he's fine. All of a sudden, he had 3 injuries. Now he has 0. So you roll Montgomery. He can do well. And MVS is the one. So there's no Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard. Let's do Monday night. And A.J. Dillon, great play if you need him. We got 40 seconds.
Rams at Cardinals, go.
Kyler, D-Hop, Kirk. That's about it. A.J. Green's gone. Rondale Moore, maybe. They might need him. But Ertz? No. Yeah, Ertz, I guess. The Rams. This looks kind of tough over the middle. You got Connor, but you got Edmonds maybe coming back, but you still play Connor. Sony Michel's going to have a huge game. Cooper Kupp, you play him. I like Van Jefferson. Odell will get a little bit of something here or there. But other than that, I know Higbee's a good matchup against Arizona, but I would rather have Hooper or Kmet than Higbee. There's too many options for LA.
8 seconds to spare.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. We're going to jump into the questions. We appreciate you guys sticking around. Hello there, Hendrick.
What's up, Hendrick? Long time no talk, man.
Hope you're well, man.
How's the weather in Germany?
All right, Robbie S. with a question. Hubbard or Zeke?
Zeke.
All right. Antonio with the question. Breda, Sony Michel, or D. Williams?
Sony.
Damian Williams? No.
Doesn't matter. Darn no. Darrell. Yeah, Darrell. Darrell,
sorry. Sony?
Sony. Easy.
Can the Steelers get a receiver who's not a diva? That's an excellent question.
Deontay.
Yeah. All right. Dawn with one here. I have Denver and Chargers already, and Seattle is sitting out there on waivers. I'm not sure who to start. I don't want to walk into a trap.
I'd say Denver. Just say Denver. They're at home. I think they're at home. I know the Chargers are a good one too against Glennon, but I think I'd still go with Denver.
All right, going with another one here. A few flex options: Crowder, Julio, Treadwell, Gage, running back, Penny, Hasty. Not much out there. Abdullah, McNichols.
I think I'd go Crowder with Elijah Moore out.
Treadwell's actually kind of close for me there too, but yeah, Crowder was probably being needed more. All right, Jeremy with one here. If I make the show tonight, it'll be a little late. No worries, man. You could always rewatch. No point in asking questions about my league. I'm out of that, though. I want to still win because I'm playing my brother. Make it happen, brother. But ABG, I need to win. Are you still feeling Kirk over Boyd?
I am, because you get the Monday Night Magic. However, I'm playing against Boyd in my most important league, so take it with a grain of salt. But I would use Kirk over Boyd.
I'm going to agree with that. Monday Night Magic. Jeremy with another one here. Was dropping Wentz for Penny a good choice? Good Coleman replacement?
Yes.
How about Kmet as a good tight end replacement for Gesicki?
Yes.
Came very close to winning Super Six last week. Looking at matchups to maybe do a little small DraftKings bet. Any thoughts on upsets this week?
Yeah, I mean, we just went through all the games, so go back and rewatch. It pretty much chatted up about everything. I don't see too many upsets taking place. Actually, I think the Jets could be a possible one. I think the Jags do beat the Titans. That's pretty much about it. Cleveland over Baltimore, I could see happening. Maybe even Washington over Dallas. That's about it.
All right, Spencer with one. Let me know, is Jamal droppable with Swift possibly coming back?
I wouldn't drop Jamal.
Because he may be only out 1 week. Running backs are gold, man.
Yeah.
Spencer with another one. DPJ or Westbrook Akine?
DPJ. He'll catch a long one this week.
I like DPJ, man. All right. I need to start 2 of the following 2 running backs: Hilliard, Collins, Singletary, or Jefferson. I know they all suck, but it is what I got. Your thoughts?
I think I have to start Jefferson just because he's going to be the starter. Even though I like he would be quite better. Yeah, you can't use Singletary.
I'm going to go Jefferson and Collins, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because you're going against Houston. Why not?
All right, Antonio with Mahomes or Brady?
Mahomes is he's going to have the best quarterback week this week, I think.
I like this question. Van Jefferson or Devonta Freeman?
I'm going to go with Van because I want a little bit of the Monday Night Magic. You know, I feel like Robert Woods going down has been a greater positive impact than Odell coming has been a negative one. Now, I know Odell's only been there a couple of weeks. The first week didn't really count. But I feel like Van Jefferson's making a name for himself to be a number 2 there for quite a while. And I know Freeman's been doing his thing, but it's a tough defense. Murray's there. They did use Tyson a little bit more last week. I'm going to go with Van Jefferson, Monday Night Magic.
All right. Tim W. with mine's easy this week. Cook played, so no Madison for me. Harris gave me a decent amount, as well as Joseph, Mooney, or Odell Beckham.
I think I'd go Mooney. Sunday night Magic is close to Monday Night Magic. He's just the number 1 there, and Odell is the number 3. Odell could outscore Mooney, but I'm gonna just go with the assured volume guy. He's gonna be on every single play.
Yeah, I would go Mooney as well on that one. All right, Michael B. All right, so need suggestions for 2 leagues. First league, Cam or Russell?
I'm going to go with Russ.
Yeah, I'm going to go Russell Wilson on that one too. League 2, Cam, Russell, or Taysom?
Taysom.
I may go Russ again, man.
I like to spread it out.
If you could. That makes sense. Yeah, since it's 2 different leagues, might as well go with another option just in case if it's a dud. Josue with a question. Half-point PPR, Gordon, Foreman, Julio Jones, Penny. Pick one flex, please.
I like Penny. it's just such a risk. Gordon's going to score a touchdown. If you could be sexy, you go Penny. If you need to be safe, you go Gordon.
I'm going to agree with that as well.
I mean, the half point PPR wants me to also say Julio.
I think Gordon's sticking out in my head just because he's going to get a touchdown.
That's it. That's the difference. He will score one.
All right. Who will start for Lions as running backs? Both got taken fast in our league. I hope I got the right guy. Wanted to get both, but was too late.
Yeah, Jefferson's a starter, but I like Godwin, Igwebuike. I mean, if you've watched anything, he's passed ever since he got on the field for the first time on Thanksgiving morning, afternoon, whatever, the first game. He just looks electric, man. He's slippery. So I think he's the better one. I mean, but we like Jermar Jefferson. Early in the year, before anybody even knew who he was, we were talking about him. So he's not a slug by any means. I think they'll both be close to equal-ish.
All right, Rob T with the question: Seattle or New Orleans?
This is a tough one. I think I would still go with the Saints. I mean, I feel like they have the tougher matchup, but they're a little bit more opportunistic, and they've been more consistent this season than Seattle.
I'm so tough. Okay, so this is where it comes in what I was saying before as far as RSJ. I think I'm going to probably drop Seattle defense then and pick up Everett. I want Seattle a little bit, so that's where this option. I have Saints. I've had Saints in the entire week. I just picked up Seattle today just as you know what, they're sitting out there. They're playing Houston. I want some part of that game, so that's where my dropping Ricky Seals-Jones and picking up Everett is probably going to be my option.
The only thing, Rob, you got to worry about is he had, 2-3 fumbles last week.
He did. And that's what makes me think they go to him more this week. And so? I got to go ebbs and flows. I mean, if you have that bad of a game, they may not need him after the first. So I'm hoping it's going to be within the first quarter, he gets his touchdown. And just I need 8 to 10 points out of him. That's all I'm looking for. I mean, that's what you're looking for any tight end.
Yeah, he looks for him in the red zone.
So, all right, Spencer with this one. Thoughts are drop Williams for Igwebuike. So I don't even know how to say it. And then drop Westbrook for Julio is back and pick up Peoples-Jones. But Baker Mayfield is whack. And Julio might take the pressure off Westbrook. And Tannehill is much better quarterback, in my opinion. I don't know what the question is.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to drop Jamal Williams for Igwebuike. It's a 1 week thing. I wouldn't mind dropping Akina
for Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, definitely do that. Baker's very hurt.
Coming off the bye week, though, that should help out a little bit as well.
Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones is better than Westbrook Akina, so yes, do that.
All right, Spencer. I'm kind of thinking Josh Palmer over Westbrook Akina, possibly.
I would go DPJ.
Agreed as well. Carol with Vastik.
I don't know
what that means, but thank you.
Carol, if you're still here, maybe you could let us know what that means.
I'll let you take this one, sir.
Hey.
Hey. All right. Andrew with the question. Josh Palmer over Westbrook, definitely. Oh, she said, all right. She's just taking Josh Palmer over Westbrook. I guess that's for Spencer's.
Well, yes, but Donovan Peoples-Jones over Josh Palmer. You know what I mean?
All right. Aaron loves me some football.
Hello, Aaron.
Listen to the fans in chat. So much insight. Agreed.
Great insight.
I'm assuming all three of them are together.
They are.
Jeremy, put Swift in. Help me out. I guess he is talking to Hendrick.
Yeah, he's playing Hendrick. Okay. Yeah, well.
That's the questions, man.
Don't do that, Hendrick. Sorry, Jeremy.
Don't do that, Hendrick.
No.
You play to win the game.
That was quick. That was 10 minutes of questions. You all sat here. Hopefully they sat here. I want to know what Vosktek means. Hendrick, do you know what that means? Vosktek. Is Hendrick still here? I don't know.
I am not sure.
Well,
So do you think my thought process of dropping RSJ to pick up Everett is beneficial for me, or do I go back after Bates?
I'm looking because I can see your waiver wire. So I want to see what you're looking at here. And you know me. I liked Everett in the preseason and liked him when many people did not like him. And it's a great matchup. It worries me, the fumbles last week just worries me that Pete Carroll is just like, you know what, you're going to fumble. We can put in, what's his face? I can't think of his name. Dude that's been there for years, their tight end.
Disley?
No.
No, I'm sorry. What team is it again?
Seattle.
Disley.
No. That's not who I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Now I gotta look. I'm worried. He's the best one, sure. I would rather play him than Ricky Seals-Jones. But if
I
you
think
are
the matchup is better too. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dallas is not as good against the tight end, but they're playing Houston. I mean,
Parkinson is who I was thinking of.
Okay.
But yeah, Disley he's still there. Yeah.
All right. So
I would have him over Ricky Seals-Jones because listen, Ricky Seals-Jones plays. He's gonna, without a doubt, I split with Bates. I mean, yeah, Everett's gonna split as well. Coaches do dumb things. And this entire season has been that way. We've talked about it as nauseum. 4th and 1, you're down 3 points on the 20-yard line. You go for it instead of just kicking a field goal. Why? That's a dumb thing. You're on the 1-yard line. You throw the ball 3 times. Why don't you at least try and run once? You're down by 1. You can force overtime with the best kicker in the game, and your offense is rolling, but instead you go for 2. That's dumb. I don't care what analytics say. Your best player on your team, you bench him. Why? Because he fumbled. And you're going to just have your offense suffer for an entire half, and you're going to put Carlos Hyde out there? Why? Because you're dumb. Pete Carroll is dumb. And I could see him being like, oh, Everett, I'm so mad at you for fumbling twice. You're not going to play as much this week.
Damn it, I just dropped him. I just picked up Everett.
But I've been saying that all along. Like,
no,
I said that from the jump. Like, I could see it. However, would I rather use Everett than Ricky Seals-Jones? Yes.
All right, so that's who I'm going with. Again, I just want a part of that game. I have DK on one side that I've been battling back and forth in another league between him and Van Jefferson. I don't have any Monday nighters, so I'm kind of thinking, oh no, I do. I have Kyler, but still, I'm kind of thinking Van Jefferson would be a good call. I don't know. A lot of tough choices to try to make the playoffs or stay in the positioning that I need to stay in. Jeremy, Blackhawks game is on. Watch you guys with the sound off. I bet you that's probably actually pretty good. Very informative. All right.
I think he's taking the sound off of the Blackhawks game.
Oh.
I think that's what he means. I hope that's what he means. I don't know how informative we could be with our sound off. I mean, Rob's kind of nice to look at, but other than that.
Tell my wife that, please. All right. Packers or Dallas?
So tough. I tell you, I'm a little worried of Green Bay Sunday night. I think I would stick with the Packers, though, because they're at home. Usually a turnover or 2, sometimes a defensive touchdown in the night games, it seems. So I'm going to stick with the Packers.
All right. Spencer, should I keep Hilliard in or put Wilson Jr. in running back and then play Westbrook and DPJ?
I would definitely put Wilson in over Hilliard for sure. And I would put DPJ over Westbrook. If there's no other option for Westbrook, then put him in there. Sure. I'm not a Nick Westbrook Akina fan. Akine is not my dude. So I'm putting Wilson in running back, whatever position Hilliard was in, and I'm playing Donovan Peoples-Jones over Westbrook if that's what's going on.
He's saying Wilson is in his flex.
Good.
Yeah, I think if you're playing if you have to play 3 out of the 4, I'm going Westbrook, DPJ, and Jeff Wilson Jr.
Yep. Yeah, go
That's what he's saying. I have 3 openings. All right.
There you go. Lock it in.
All right. Anything else there, guess?
No, but this is it, right? And I find it interesting. Tuesday I had a monologue, I guess we can call it that. Or maybe it was a tirade. No, it wasn't much of a tirade. More of a monologue. We'll go with that.
We're gonna go.
Just about how this is it. This is what we've been playing the entire season for, and it's no hold bar, and it's cutthroat, and you have to worry about your team, but also everybody else's team, and you have to block them if it's at all possible. And then we had some issues with that type of thing happening, but it's fantasy, and all things are fair, aside from colluded trades, which are not. But you can pick up whoever you want. I'm even of the crowd that is okay, and some people may hate me for this or hate this, that if you are eliminated, but if your provider still has a matchup for you, I don't care. Pick up people. If somebody else that's playing for a championship may need someone more than you just because they're playing for a championship, who cares? Screw them. That's how I feel about it. You may feel different, Rob. People watching may feel different. But if I'm in a consolation bracket, my team is still alive, there's the majority of people out there say you have no business picking up this hot waiver wire ad. Baloney. If you wanted to be able to do that, you should have saved your number 1 waiver wire for the playoffs, or saved your allotted amount of moves, or adjusted ahead of time for it because you're in the championship rounds. So, like, this is the beginning of cutthroat. We played nice. It's no longer time, because this could be the end. And we play for a championship, but even if you're eliminated, until you have no more games on your platform, you play to win. You play to win. It's pride.
Play to win the game.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. And I will make any moves that I need to make, even if it hurts your team or somebody your team might need. I will make it because it will make my team better or give me a better chance at advancing. That's just how I feel. And it starts tomorrow. It started on Wednesday, actually.
All right. Gage or Emmanuel Sanders?
I would actually play Sabders over Sanders. So that should answer your question. I'm not an Emmanuel Sanders guy. They are going to need him against the Bucs. But I just feel like Gage is going to fit into that. It's going to be Gage or it's going to be Sharp. It's going to be one of them that are going to have a large peppering. They're going to be seasoned well by Mr. Ryan or it's going to be Pitts. It's going to be whoever's going over the middle. And
Gage tends to be that guy, man.
Yeah.
He gets hit a lot over the middle.
Right. And sometimes when they put him on the outside, it's Sharp. And sometimes Pitts plays a traditional tight end role, and he's over the middle. That's what I mean. So it's like they're all going to be viable. I don't know if they're viable enough to start, but if it comes down to him or Emmanuel Sanders, I have not once jumped on the Emmanuel Sanders board in about 3 years. So I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to go with Gage. in a game where they're going to need someone who's not being covered on the outside, and that's where he gets his bread buttered, so to speak.
That's where his roly-poly happens. Dude, okay. So just to say it real quick, we got the words hodgepodge in this one. We got a shellacking as well. So those are two things that I wrote down. I wrote down the games. So if things become hodgepodgey or shellackins be happening, that's a part of the videos.
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm telling you, the Kansas City one's going to happen. If you're a betting man, I don't know what that line is. My guess, because they're at home. Rob, you're going to have to look it up. I'm going to say that it is not less than 5.5, and I would say it anywhere up to 8.5. I know it's a big window, but it just depends on what Vegas wants you to take. But I see them winning by double digits easily, Kansas City.
I'm trying, but it won't let me.
I go to the Score app.
I have to sign in, and I don't even remember what my password is or anything.
Let me see.
Sorry about that.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So they're with me, Vegas. Kansas City -10.
All right.
They're with me. Yeah. Yeah. They're going to win by double digits. That's going to be a shellacking. I didn't even know. I honestly thought it was going to be around 5.5 because some people still think the Raiders are good, but they haven't looked good in about a month. You got a question?
All right. The Chosen Rose.
From
Welcome.
YouTube.
Arizona or Bengals defense?
The 49ers offense surging just a little bit. The Rams have a surging offense. But I'm going to go with Arizona. They are the better defense. They've been better all year long. And they're at home. I know that the Bengals are as well. But it's Monday night. And you get a chance for some Monday night magic. And a lot of time in those games, Chosen Rose, there are defensive touchdowns. And I think that you play that, and it gives you a shot for something on Monday night in case you need it.
I'm going to agree. Another one here, Zeke or Sony Michel?
Well, I'm going to have to eat my words, aren't I? You know what? I don't see a way that you sit Zeke this week. I'm guessing you just joined the show, but when we went through the games, like I love Zeke this week. I think with the 10 days off, you're going to see a completely different runner than we did last week after he only had the 3.5 days off before playing against a better rush defense last week. I think Zeke is a must play this week. But Sony's fresh. And I talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show. I mean, I wish you could pull that one up and make that a video, Rob, but I don't remember what week it was, but it might have been week 11 or 10. I said, they're saving Sony Michel for something. I said, it would not surprise me if Sony Michel gets used down the stretch and he's fresh and they ride him and he looks really good. And now it's a little bit of happenstance. You write that one down. Happenstance. That, Williams was hurt. Now he's got COVID. Or Henderson was hurt. Now he has COVID. But it's Sony Michel time. And I know that you're playing the Arizona defense, and I'm going to guess it's the same league. I know we should never assume because that makes something out of me and you. But I talked about on the Tuesday show that I used to always be anti-play offense against the defense I use, but I've learned through necessity this year that sometimes that's not always a bad thing. Your defense can still do really well, and offensive players on the other team can still do really well. So I'm going to give a slight edge to Sony.
Same league, he's saying.
I'm going to give a slight edge to Sony because Sony's going to be the workhorse. It's Monday night, and you have a chance for that magic. And even though I'm playing Arizona defense, I'm going for it, but I really don't know how we're sitting Zeke. You got to have another good running back out there.
All right, MVS, Judy or Gage?
Love MVS this week. Gage would not even be a part of this question. Judy is the safest play, but Judy may not need to be used as often. MVS is going to be boom or bust. We liked him in the preseason. And he got hurt. He had a good week 1, I believe. Then he got hurt. He was out for a while. He came back. A-Rod's been looking his way. He's got something like, I want to say, I don't know, eight catches or something like that, or like 19 targets for like 180 yards and a couple touchdowns over the past few weeks, something along those lines. Maybe just 1 touchdown. It's between him and Judy. I think Judy's safer. MVS is sexier.
I think you're spot on. 19 targets, 8 catches, 175 yards, and a touchdown the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. MVS is sexier. And if you want the Sunday night magic, I got no problem with it. Judy is safer. So go with your gut on that. I would probably go with Judy.
Just because they're playing the Lions, they're going to be able to move the ball. Even though they're going to run it, Judy should get some love.
No, not Gage. Kicker question.
And Justin Hopkins, yep, and Tyler Bass.
Hopkins the Chargers guy now?
Hopkins is the Chargers guy, correct.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go Hopkins.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hopkins at home. I think
they could put up a lot of points the same way they did on Cincinnati last week.
It's possible they can move the ball really well and might stall a couple times, maybe get a couple short fields with an interception on Glennon. I'm going to go Hopkins, I think. I think that I like Bass because Tampa Bay could stop him, same sort of thing. Don't get in the end zone, but it could get to a point where they can't settle for field goals anymore. And, Dallas just being on the road, Zerline has sort of always been an indoor kicker. I'm going to go with Hopkins at home with a soft offense against them.
Zeke over Pollard just turned sound now.
Yeah, Pollard's not playing. Pollard's going to be out, I think, until the playoffs.
All right. The Chosen Rose had said, I have Eckler and Patterson in flex. So Zeke and Sony Michel are his only other 2 options.
Can you put Patterson at wide receiver? And, who are your other wide receivers?
Well, he had to put one for MVS or Judy. Are you going to put Patterson in wide receiver and then start all 3 running backs?
Yeah.
I think I would do that as well.
Yeah.
No, it's ESPN.
Gotcha.
I wish I had that. That duality is so big. So big. All right, Jeremy, with hoping for his sake, J-Rob bounces back and doesn't become the next Rojo.
No, it's not even that. It's a rookie head coach. He can't take his head out of his ass. And honestly, but the whole team is rallying around J-Rob at this point and have been very vocal about it. It's just a matter of him doing the right thing. And if he doesn't do it this week, I would imagine like Urban Meyer might not last this year. Like he'll get through this season and he's gone.
They tried the experiment.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
And Chosen Rose, because I see your question there, not Gage. The thing is with Gage, I feel like the Panthers defense is going to play very well coming off the bye. Matt Ryan is not as good on the road, never has been. And it's just Tajay Sharp, Patterson, who you're already using. Pitts, they're going to have to try and run the game as much as possible. And I just think it's whoever is over the middle. And that could be Gage. But we've seen Gage lay eggs, goose eggs, much times in the past, year in, year out. This is about his 3rd or 4th season, I believe. And I wouldn't use Gage over either of those 2. I wouldn't. I just feel like Judy is the safest. MVS is the sexiest. Just everything I said. But listen, the number one rule is always go with your gut. You know, if my answer to that question, your immediate thought was, "Wow, not Gage," that must mean you really like Gage, and I don't hate it. If that's who you like, you go with it because that's who you got to trust. Because if I'm wrong and you're right, you know you'll be mad at me, but you'll be mad at yourself. Why did I listen to that guy in his basement? Um, Always trust your gut, my man or my woman. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. Because Rose, it could be the chosen Rose. Maybe your last name is Rose. Maybe your first name is Rose. Your guy, I don't know. But I love you for showing up to Answers by Guess from YouTube. We love when the YouTubers come on. So welcome and thank you.
All right. Urban Meyer's getting lap dances with his head in his ass.
I mean, that's like the thing I'm least mad at him about. Let's be honest.
All right, guys. Remember, always like us, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Guess, any final words there, sir?
No, just, put your best team out there. Go with your gut. Take what we say. Take what the experts say. Take what your gut says. Put your best team out there. If you win, yes, good. Because I want us all to win. But if you lose, you just have to know that you did what you thought was right. And, sometimes it's not your fault. It's not your fault sometimes. And that's kind of how I get through it. Because sometimes my team does really well and I still lose. And that's just like, well, that's my luck. And sometimes my team does terrible. And, it's a game. It's a game. And it's the best game. But let's hope we win. I want to see you all back Tuesday. And let's get those wins. We'll be available till about 12:30 Eastern on the page, in the group, or via PM for this season. So good luck and let us know.
All right, Jeremy, with the last thing here. I always listen to the guy in his basement, not as good this year because he didn't put up the lucky ABG sign
Is
in the
that what
background.
it is? I tell you what, Jeremy, just for you, baby. Tuesday, that sign's going to be there. I don't know what happened to it, honestly. I feel like my wife maybe was down here with the kids, and I think one of them ripped it off there. I'll put it back. I'll get it up there for you. Maybe that's what it is. Let's get through this week. We get through this week with our heads held high and a win in our pocket. And Sprite Guest sign will be right up there for you and me.
All right, guys. Always look #Answers by Guess. You will see that handsome face right there. All right. Peace.
Good night, everybody. Good luck.
Good luck.